Once upon a time, a kind king ruled a calm and joyful kingdom. He had a wise minister who always gave beneficial advice and helped him make fair decisions for the people. The king's court had many hardworking and honest courtiers, but one of them, Charles, was not like the others. Charles was clever and selfish. He always found ways to cheat innocent people for his own benefit. He didn't care about the struggles of the poor and never hesitated to take advantage of them. The minister didn't like Charles's greedy tricks and reported them to the king. However, the king didn't take serious action and only advised Charles not to do it again. One day, Charles saw a royal servant cleaning the stables and approached him with a smile. "You have been working so hard," Charles said. "I will speak to the king and ask for a special reward for you." The servant, eager for a reward, said to Charles, "I will give you half of my wages if you ask the king to reward me with gold coins." The servant then handed over half of his wages to Charles. Charles smiled and took the money. "Don't worry. I will make sure the king hears about your hard work," he promised. But instead of speaking to the king, Charles kept the money for himself. Many days passed, but the servant never received any reward. Feeling disappointed, he went to Charles and asked, "I gave you half of my wages, but I didn't get any reward. Where is it?" Charles turned away and said, "You didn't give me any money, so don't tell lies." The servant, feeling heartbroken and crying, turned and walked away. The minister saw the servant weeping in a corner of the royal garden. "Why are you crying?" the minister asked. The servant explained, "Charles tricked me and took my money, but I got no reward." The minister grew frustrated and said, "Don't worry, I will tell the king. You will get justice." The minister went to the king and said, "Charles promised the servant he would ask you for a reward, but he took money from him and didn't help." The king shrugged and said, "The servant is at fault. He shouldn't have given money for a reward. That's just a bribe." The minister, disappointed, said, "Yes, Your Majesty," and walked away. After a few days, Charles saw a widow selling rice and lentils at the market to support her children. "I am Charles. I am a courtier. You are doing well," Charles said with a sly smile. "If you want to sell more, I can help you. I know some stall owners who can buy your rice in bulk and resell it. This will help your business grow. Please give me some money so I can talk to them for you." The widow, looking worn out and worried, said, "I lost my husband 2 years ago, and I have 3 children to care for. What I earn is never enough. Please, I don't have much, but take this little I have and help me." Charles took the money and walked away. Standing at her stall, the widow took a plate, scooped some rice onto it, then added lentils on top of it, and placed a small salad beside it. She handed the plate to a young man sitting at a table. "Take this," she said, with a worn smile. "Enjoy your meal." The man smiled back. "Thank you." She quickly prepared another plate for a woman. As she handed it over, the widow whispered to herself, "That courtier promised to help me, but he didn't come back. Tomorrow, I will go to the royal court and find him." The next day, the widow arrived at the royal court, but the guards stopped her at the gate. "I want to meet Charles," she said. The guards informed Charles, and he came to her with a cold look. "I don't know you," he said sharply, turning away. "I gave you my money," the widow cried, her voice shaking. "You promised to help me." The widow's heart broke, and tears filled her eyes as she turned and left the court, her steps heavy with disappointment. The servants saw everything that happened and felt sad. One of them told the minister, who was angry but could do nothing. That evening, the minister sat with his wife drinking tea. He looked upset. His wife asked, "What happened?" He sighed and said, "Today, I heard about a widow. Charles promised to help her, but he only took her money. I didn't tell the king because it's useless. He never listens." His wife served some biscuits and said, "Don't worry, leave it to God. One day, someone smarter than Charles will come, and he will learn a lesson he won't forget." Adam lived in a village with his wife and 2 kids. He wanted to farm on his own land, but for now, he worked on another farm. He was saving money to start his own farming someday. Adam came home one night after work. His wife, Elizabeth, was in the kitchen making dinner. She boiled the eggs, peeled them, and fried them in oil. After frying the eggs, she took them out and added chili powder, turmeric, salt, and coriander, frying them with a little water. Adam asked, "It smells so good. What are you making?" Elizabeth smiled and replied, "A simple egg curry. It will be ready soon." After adding chopped tomatoes, she poured half a cup of water and let it cook for 10 minutes. Then, she added chopped potatoes with 1 cup of water and cooked it for 15 minutes. When everything was ready, she mashed the tomatoes, added the eggs, and topped it with green chili and fresh coriander. Elizabeth served it with bread on the kitchen floor, and Adam, Hannah, and Tommy sat down to eat together, enjoying the meal. After dinner, Elizabeth made coffee, and they sat together in the lounge. While Hannah and Tommy studied, Adam took out his money and counted it, saying, "I think this is enough for seeds and equipment for farming." Elizabeth asked, "But you need land too, and we don't have any." Adam sighed. "I will find a way. Don't worry." The next day, he went to Charles, who had some land. The cunning courtier said, "You will have to pay me by giving me a part of your produce." Adam asked, "Which part?" The clever courtier replied, 70% of it grows above the land." Adam begged, "Please take 40%. I will work hard and spend money on seeds during farming." But Charles shook his head and said, "I will take 70%. Adam agreed and started farming. The courtier was happy that he had made a fool of Adam because he would now have 70% of the crop without any effort. After a few months, the courtier came to know that the crops in Adam's fields were ready. He came and asked for his share. Adam showed him the sacks, which he said contained the rent for the courtier. When the courtier opened one sack, there were only leaves inside it. The furious courtier took Adam to the king. There he told the king that Adam had cheated him. Adam replied to this accusation by saying, "I have done what was agreed on." The courtier shouted, "But my lord, Adam has given me just the leaves of the crop he had grown." Adam said, "My lord, this courtier had asked me for the 70% part of the crop above the ground. I knew that he was trying to cheat me, so I grew carrots and gave him the leaves that grow above the ground." While the courtier felt angry, the king laughed out loud and praised Adam. "Well, well, you are very clever. You must come to the court and help me with the cases that come to me. I need clever people like you." The minister, who was also there, smiled. He felt thrilled to see the courtier defeated. The courtier, who was always tricking innocent people, had now become the victim of his own tricks. Moral: never take advantage of others. It may come back and hurt you.